Hi guys, it's Carol. How are ya? I'm going to try to not swing. I'm sitting on my swing, but I'm going to try not to make it move. um, how are you guys? Did you have a wonderful 4th of July? I hope so. Um, we had a good 4th of July weekend. There, where my son and daughter-in-law and the 2 kids live, they had a lot of 4th of July activities in their development. So the kids had a really good 4th of July. And I pretty much just chilled out at home and read a book. I'm going to do a book review on it in just a minute. Let me show you Molly. Whoops, there went my hand. Molly is going to the groomers tomorrow. This is her before picture. She and Toby are going to get groomed tomorrow. Poor Toby. I'm a bad schnauzer mama. I let him get matted, and so he will have to have a super short haircut, but he's got that t-shirt to wear that Casey bought for him. His little baby fine white hair mats like crazy. It's awful, and he hates to be brushed, which is not a good combination. But anyway, oh, I'm swinging, sorry. We had a cool weekend. We've had a lot of rain and cool overcast weather, so it's been really nice. I've been out here on my swing a lot. Today, my grandson has thrown up all day long. His daddy said he started throwing up in the middle of the night and continued on throughout this morning. But I ran to Walmart and got some Pepto-Bismol for him, and, you know, chicken noodle soup and ginger ale and stuff. And I got extra to send home with him, so they'll have it tonight. A lady that works for maintenance here, she's a brand new employee, was here when I got home fixing my garbage disposal. Casey had stayed home with Rhett while I ran to the store. And she said that it's a bug going around. We were kind of concerned. Why was he throwing up so awful? But she said it's something going around. So I got extra chicken noodle soup and ginger ale and Gatorade and crackers for them to take home tonight in case Taylor comes down with it, or Mama and Daddy. So that's what we've been doing. Now, poor thing, he's asleep on my couch. Casey and Taylor have gone to Rose's to get Taco Tuesday. My son sent money for me to get lunch and crackers or whatever Rhett needed, so we're spending Daddy's money. And Taco Tuesday is what Taylor wanted. I had intended to put a roast in the crock pot first thing this morning to have for lunch, but Rhett told me he did not want to smell anything cooking, so that's when Taylor decided Taco Tuesday would be a good idea. Okay, I'm going to go get my book so I can tell you about it. Hang on. Hi guys, it's Carol. How are you? I'm pretty good, considering I've spent the morning with a child throwing up every 15 minutes. My granddaughter, I had to change shirts. My granddaughter told me after I filmed the first little bit of this that I needed some lipstick on. Well, I think this is way too bright, but it's what I could find. You know, I don't wear lipstick except for... No. Hang on. This is a huge apartment complex. There's a pair of cats that have chosen their little grassy area right in front of my fence, right in front of my patio door, to proceed to make babies. Toby is just having a hissy fit at them, and they just look in here. They just look right through the patio door at us, and say, like, why are you watching me? Okay, anyway. Taylor told me I need lipstick. This is the only thing I could find. It's a little bright, I think. But I am going to tell you about a book I read this weekend. It's Pioneer Woman, in case you don't recognize her. Frontier Follies, Adventures in Marriage and Motherhood in the Middle of Nowhere. I assume everybody knows who Pioneer Woman is. But if you don't, she was a woman who grew up in, I think, Bartlesville, Oklahoma. Her dad was an orthopedic surgeon. They lived on a golf course. Had a really nice life growing up. After she graduated from high school, she went to Los Angeles to go to the University of California, LA, and she decided to go back home for a break, and then she was going to Chicago to obtain a law degree. So she wanted to be a lawyer. She was a vegetarian, and she came home from California to stay with her parents for a little while before she goes on to school to be a lawyer. And one night, she and some girlfriends went to a dive bar, and she saw this cowboy in some really nice fitting Wranglers across the way, and the rest is history. They got married, have 4 kids and 1 foster son, live on a ranch. Oh, my nose itches. In fact, they live on the largest ranch in Oklahoma. I think they are number 23 on landowners with the most land in the country. It's 433,000 acres. They run about 2,500 head of cattle, which is a large herd. They also have a lot of horses, and the government pays them about $2 million a year to take care of the wild horses and wild donkeys that live on their land. So she's never hurt for money. Although ranching is not always a profitable business. In fact, I just read a week or two ago that right now, because of the way prices are, ranchers are losing money on every head of cattle they raise because prices are going up, but who's getting the money is the meat packer, not the rancher, not the grocery store. The people getting the most money are the packing plants that process the meat. But anyway, not all ranchers are millionaires by far. I have a thing for ranches. I really like to study about different ranches. I fantasize about living on one, but honestly, I am way too much of a wimp to live on a ranch. God knew what he was doing when he did not put me on a ranch. I admire those people, but I could never be one. I'm too much of a wimp. But anyway, one day when her 4 kids were little, I think the youngest was 2 and the oldest was maybe 8. I mean, they were all little kids. I guess she'd been having a day. Lad was going to take them all to work with him on the ranch that day and let her have a little peace and quiet. And as he went out the door, she said, "You know what? I'm thinking about starting a blog." And he said, "I don't know what a blog is, but knock yourself out." She did. I started reading her blog years ago. I'm not even sure if her first cookbook had even been published when I started reading her blog. It was online way before I ever started watching YouTube by a decade or so. But anyway, I used to read her blog, and I still do. So I feel like I've watched these kids grow up, and Ree is just the most down-to-earth person, funny as I'll get out. Her entire book and her blog is about everyday things that happen on the ranch or in her life or with her kids. And she doesn't dress things up. She tells you how they really happened. And in this book, every story is true. There's just, oh, how many pages? 340 pages of stories. Each chapter is a different little story. One of my favorite was, you know that she has written cookbooks now, and a children's series about her dog Charlie, and a children's series called Little Ree about a little girl like her. And she wrote their love story in a book called From High Heels to Tractor Wheels, which I really enjoyed reading. If you haven't read it and you like Pioneer Woman, get that book from your library, From High Heels to Tractor Wheels. And then she got a cooking show on the Food Network. I think she's had that like 10 years. I've never seen it because I don't have cable, but I've seen little snippets on YouTube. Recently, okay, during the pandemic, the filming crew couldn't be there. Food Network had a filming crew from England that came over and filmed her cooking show. During the pandemic, they could not come over. So her kids have been filming her. Honest to goodness, her kids have been filming her. Her two daughters, Alex and Paige, a nephew named Stuart, which I believe is her, I'm not sure. I think it's her big brother's child or her sister's child. I don't know. Anyway, Stuart is a nephew. And Mauricio, who is now her son-in-law, but during that time he was engaged to her daughter. Those four young people have been filming her show. I have seen pictures of their tripods with a cell phone that where they're filming. But anyway, not too long ago, she was making something. I have no idea what. And they were filming away, and they had some plumbing problems. So there was an opening somewhere in the lodge. Now, the lodge is their guest house out on the ranch. They live in the house that Ladd grew up in, that her in-laws lived in. And then there was this other little house on the ranch that they remodeled and call it the lodge. And it has, I think, 4 bedrooms and a big kitchen and, living area and stuff. So when they have company, they can stay up there. Well, now the lodge is where they film her show. Okay, they had some plumbing problems. So there was a hole somewhere where somebody was working on the plumbing. Rhea was cooking something. Her kids were filming her, and a big rat ran right behind her. The kids started screaming. Told her there's a rat. She started screaming, and then the rat runs back again. She did not edit it out. She said, this is real life. Anyway, I enjoy her so much. And I enjoyed this book. I read it over the 4th of July weekend when I didn't have any grandkids or something. Frontier Follies, Adventures in Marriage and Motherhood in the Middle of Nowhere. And honestly, she lives in the middle of nowhere. Like I told you, her family's ranch is 433,000 acres. And that was one of the reasons she wanted to start a blog way back in the day, was because she was lonely. She didn't have neighbors. They live about 30 miles from Pawhuska, which is a little town. And that's why she wanted to start a blog, she wanted it to be a way to let her sister and her mother and grandmothers know what was going on at the ranch. That's the basis of it, starting in the beginning. But anyway, I loved it. It's a good read. I laughed a lot. If you want to read something funny, read this book. But if you haven't read From High Heels to Tractor Wheels, get it from the library too and read it first. Okay, I'm going to go. I will talk to you in the next video. I hope you're doing good. I'll find a less bright lipstick the next time my granddaughter tells me I need some lipstick on. I hope you're doing good. Let me know what's going on in your world. Okay, see ya. This is poor Toby. This is his before picture before he goes to the groomers in the morning. The poor thing looks like a sheepdog. He can't see.